Hello, good afternoon, viewers. Welcome once again. It's the Business X-Ray Show, and it's the show that helps to prepare you for today and tomorrow, but then most importantly, it's a show that helps you grow your wealth. Now, today we have a very interesting topic. We're looking at a topic that sits within the services sector. I know it's quite, sometimes a little, close to us when we see people that are sitting within the space of dealing in tangibles, as some people may call them, merchandise that you can touch here and there. Services remains one of our biggest challenge as a country, and yet when we look at that sector, it is emerging as one of the biggest contributors to the country's GDP. Now, trouble is it is largely dominated by foreign players, because most of our people actually fail to master the principles that can see them sail through in this particular space. That's why today we have a special guest who is sitting right in that particular area and has really respected some values that have made her really ride the storms of business, and of course the good things that come with that. Sometimes we tend, Charles, to focus so much on the storms, but there are also many who actually go under because of too much goodness or success that comes with certain activities in business. Again, that's Charles Ochichi with me. Charles, you're most welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, and I'm so happy to be here. And I also want to thank the partners that have been part of this journey for more than a year now. Uganda Insurance Association, Abi Trust, Minister of Finance, and of course Enterprise Uganda. Happy to be here again today.
They've done a very good job, because I think, we began these engagements in the middle of COVID.
Exactly.
Actually, the lockdown, so to speak.
Exactly.
And I think we've added quite something to...
No, when you meet people who are passionate about this, they look forward to Sunday afternoon every day.
Yeah.
They reorganize their programs to just say, we want to listen to the next story. Because every story has got its shade of a lesson, encouragement.
Very good. Now, in the studio today, viewers, we have Jen, and Jen is into wellness. We'll get to hear more about wellness, the opportunities in there, and indeed why Jen has stuck in that area. Jen, you're most welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Charles. Good afternoon, viewers. As Charles said earlier, I'm personally so excited to be here on this program. Charles, this has been my dream come true.
Thank you.
Because I've admired you over the years and the way you have run Enterprise Uganda. So I'm really, really honored to be in the studio with you. Thank you so much.
Very good. Well, that's Jen. Jen is from Sleek and Slender. A very, very nice name, I should say, Jen. I must
Thank you.
For that.
Thank you.
Yes, very, very good.
Thank you.
Yes. Charles,
yes.
Very fast. We've had, as always, the week is quite eventful on the, the business, or we can call it the socio-economic kind of, chapter or space, if I may say. I don't know what touched you in the week we are concluding today.
To me, this week was an interesting week because an elder citizen, a senior citizen in this country, touched on a topic that is raw, that is painful, that we tend to delay and just walk into it. The story of retirement. This lady was a teacher, and a great teacher at that. She taught in Gayasa High School, progressed to become a deputy headmistress. At Mary Hill, she became headmistress. And while there, she started seeing colleagues who were retiring. And many of them, when they struggle too much, they find themselves unable to cope with lack of income, lack of spending power. And a good number dying before 5 years are over since retirement. But also she said there are many that she saw that survived the immediate death, but had a rough time living for another 25 to 30 years without income.
In poverty, to be specific.
In poverty. And what were their options? They said, I invested in a child. Can I go to my child and start getting them to look after me? And you are not going there with happiness, you are going there with authority, almost demanding.
Entitlement.
Entitlement. And then also you discover that the person you are trying to go and squeeze out something from is barely beginning her journey as a professional. And then therefore has got a lot of challenges on their own hands. The pain of almost feeling that you are rejected, the pain of loneliness, the pain of failure to pay for basics that you used to enjoy, drives these people into very, very uncharted waters. So I thought that was an interesting story Uganda should pick a leaf from. And at Enterprise Uganda, we have a solution for that. We have tried to partner with NSSF, but it's a solution Ugandans need to look at and start working on as quickly as possible.
And it's good, Charles, you're bringing in NSSF, because I remember the last interaction I had with them is they were worried about many of their pensioners, the contributors to the fund.
Very
Because
correct.
once they get that lump sum,
Yeah.
even with the money,
Yes.
when they get it,
Yeah.
some of them actually won't last, another 2 years with that money.
And precisely this lady shared the same thing, that it is better for people to start acquiring entrepreneurship skills as early as possible. The illusion of saying that you have had a great career, retire and sit somewhere in a veranda is never the case. That brain has another 25 to 30 years to look after you and probably look after the grandchildren.
Yes.
Because your daughter, your son is just beginning a job. But I also want to stretch that message further by saying it's not just somebody who has reached 60, 65 years who should be worried. Anybody earning a salary, fully aware you cannot control when that salary can stop, should begin to prepare for that picture when no salary comes in. And this lady made one remark. She said, we have never learned as employees, people who get lump sum payments or salary regular payment, learned the power of saving 1,000.
Yeah.
The day you lose a job and you begin to look after yourself, 1,000 begins to have value. But you better begin to appreciate that value early. Don't be pushed into it. So don't even wait for 60 years. Start early.
That's a good one, starting early. And I think it's good. It really resonates quite well with our population. We have a largely young population.
Yes.
And I'm sure that message should actually mean something to us viewers out there that are watching and probably looking at picking a thing or two from this engagement. Now today, ladies and gentlemen, we have, again, I will introduce her, Jen Baine. Jen Baine is from Sleek and Slender. She's into the business of wellness. Today we're going to understand what wellness means and the opportunities that lie in the business of wellness. Jen, you're most welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
Now, briefly,
Yes.
I know my viewers are burning to know who is Jen, especially those who don't know you. I know
Yes.
you're known also in, some quarters.
Yes.
But who is Jen?
Jane Baine is a mother, a wife, and a grandmother.
Okay.
I'm a teacher by profession, and I'm also a counseling psychologist. This qualification I added a little later to help me assist my clients.
Okay.
I want to say that I'm so passionate about people being well, of course starting with myself. And I want to proudly say that I'm in my 60s,
Oh.
and every single day I feel 28. I have so much energy.
I'm quite speechless on that one.
You
Charles
are-
is the one with many words, but maybe you add a thing or two.
I can hear him smiling. I can see him smiling at that.
Yeah.
I just want to say that I've been really, really passionate about this work that I've been doing for the past 21 years. And every day I pray that God gives me another maybe 20 or 30 years to continue doing what I've been doing, because I enjoy it every single day.
Very good.
Yes.
That's great. So tell us about wellness, even before we go into how you began, where you got the idea to go into this space. What is wellness?
Wellness is, many people think of wellness, I don't know, as just an absence of disease. But wellness is the total well-being,
Okay.
holistic well-being of a person. When you feel at your optimum, physically, psychologically, emotionally, and everything else. So wellness is not just a mere absence of disease, but wellness is about feeling at your optimum. When you can serve well, when you can go to bed and sleep without worrying about too many things. As we get into the program, we shall be discovering about
a lot more about
a lot more about wellness and what it entails.
I hear you.
Yes.
That's a good one. Now,
Yes.
it again, lead me to the question of wondering the business of wellness now.
Yes.
And Charles normally says that fairly successful businesses are those that are there to address a societal or community need.
Correct.
Tell us about, the opportunities in the business of wellness. I mean, where are they? I'm trying to understand the business, and I'm sure there are many viewers, because this show is watched, by people with a pen and paper. Yes.
I don't know how I can describe.
There might be product lines. If I walked to you, you saw me, you can start saying, for you to optimize your your wholeness, I want you to start here.
Yes.
No, Charles, in the area of wellness, let me tell you, there are so many opportunities, and of course, I don't want to blame people. I don't want to blame anybody, but a lot of things in our country need overhauling, starting with the education system. Because a lot of times when we are in school, in these schools, we are taught physics, we are taught chemistry, and nobody teaches you how to eat well, how to manage your stress. Nobody teaches you about attitude, which is a big part of wellness, and a lot of people have no idea that attitude is an important thing that you need.
And I think that's quite important, Charles, here, because we always say nowadays most employers don't want to hire based on someone's qualification, but attitude.
Very true.
Are you trainable? Are you in the right state of mind, and that kind of thing? So when Jen here talks about that, I can really see. Because initially we used to think that people who go to meet who need psychology or psychiatrists and all the services that go into some of these spaces are out there abroad. But now we are seeing it coming here.
Very true.
I don't know what you're picking from Jen, even before we go into how she motivated the idea of going into or taking that line so far.
Yeah. What you can hear from Jen's story is a person who had a certain way of carrying herself and discovers that there are certain principles you need to follow as a person to make the best of yourself. And it becomes a passion. And she begins to say, if I can enjoy this, why can't I start an enterprise or a farm that will make more people also enjoy themselves as I serve community? And as you heard from her, the moment you connect with your talent, you connect with your vision, the job ceases being a job. It becomes a real beautiful and fulfillment. So you see a person who is just saying, I enjoy what I'm doing. I sleep well. I love helping people. And then she says, years have simply stopped increasing in terms of her life. She's supposed to be in her 60s. She says she feels she's at 28. How many more Ugandans are wishing they could get into that kind of a state? You see young people today
Struggling.
A person is in his 30s, you look at a person is rugged and finished. You just didn't know that when you are born and left into adulthood, the rest is really in your hands, and there are those things that are not spoken about or not taught about.
Absolutely.
They just teach you about biology, but they don't put you in and start saying, this biology is not about passing senior 4. There's where you should use it to make the best out of yourself.
I hear you.
So I think this is the kind of a show that Ugandans need to start seeing. One, the lesson is, if you have a talent and you have begun to enjoy it, try to convert it into a business. Try to convert it into a societal solution, and see Ugandans begin to come to you. And I believe when she started whatever she's now doing, there was not initially even a name to it. She just started giving solutions. There must have been not even just a venue which was saying, this is now a venue for Sleek and Slender. What a beautiful name. She just started doing it. And then finally she said, formalize it. That is how you walk into your talent, how you walk into your gifting. And many of us have got that gifting, and we're thinking, how can I first do something that relates where I went to school? And then maybe register a business. Yet you can start actually enjoying and delivering a solution even before those formalities.
That's a good
but let's get from
Beine,
how she walked into the thing and now what she's doing and how people are receiving her.
Exactly.
Charles, it's as if you were there.
Yeah.
When I was starting Sleek and Slender.
Wow, you see that?
That's exactly how I felt.
Right.
I started with a need of taking care of myself, because after I had a couple of children, the weight became too much. Charles is laughing, but that is the truth. In fact, I was weighing 20 more kilos than is good for me.
Oh.
And that caused me a lot of discomfort. So I started looking for a solution, and I knew that something that would work for me or something that would help me live a better life would also be good for other people. And that's how Sleek and Slender was born, and I've never looked back.
Wow.
That's a good one.
Yes.
Now,
Never looked back.
Jen, we tend to be imprisoned by our professions.
Yeah.
Like you said at the beginning, you were a teacher by profession, by training.
Yes.
And then there you are, or here you are, you like, you know what? I think I want to go into wellness. I want to go into this space. How did you find it at the beginning, making that transition from teaching to this?
Actually, Charles, what is so funny, my first job was in a bank.
Okay.
I worked in
UCB.
UCB, yes.
You see that?
Yes, I worked
Wow.
in UCB for 4 years. And in between there is another story. That's how I met Mr. Beine, and we got married. And as soon as I had my first child, I said, this is it for an 8 to 5 job. Let me go and first pursue family life. And I did that, by the way, for so many years. But in the process, certain things started to happen, and that's when the weight came, and I was not happy with how I looked and how I felt. So I started looking for solutions. And what is very interesting, I actually became a teacher later.
Oh,
yes.
okay.
As I was looking after children, I was doing some few courses here and there, and that's how I now got involved in teaching. I went back to do childhood education with the sole purpose of starting a model kindergarten. And I actually ended up at Kabira International School. I taught there for 4 years. And then I saw that actually owning a school was not going to be what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. That's how I branched into wellness.
Oh, that's
Yes,
great.
yes.
So in terms of service,
Yes.
what kind of products are you offering today? Just define for us what Sleek and Slender is.
It's so difficult to just to define Sleek and Slender here on air. I always encourage people to come to Sleek and Slender and just see for themselves.
It's an experience.
It is by the way, it is an experience. So what I started with was machines called toning tables. I imported them from United Kingdom. And to let you know how seriously I thought through this business that I intended to do for the rest of my life. I even went to United Kingdom, to the manufacturers of these machines. I wanted them to train me on how to instruct my clients. I wanted them to teach me how to maintain this equipment, because this equipment is so costly. Right now it costs maybe more than $60,000 US. Yes. So you can't just bring the machines here and after 3 months they are all broken, and then you are running to the bank. Yeah. And then you'd be in the papers. Mr. Chichi always has cuttings of people that have ended up in problems. So I took this very, very, very seriously. Yes, yes. I went and did the training, and I came. In fact, I did the training before the equipment arrived here. Oh. So yes, the equipment came, and I started my day one with one client. Okay. Day 2, about 4 clients. Within a month, I had about 25. Within 6 months, I had about 90 clients. Wow. That was the peak. I doubt if I'll ever go back there, but it's okay with the clients that I have right now.
I hear you.
Yes.
I hear you.
Yes.
That's an interesting one. I don't know whether you're picking something
interesting. And I want the viewers to connect with this story, because here is a lady who gets into this world and somehow does what we all do. Look for some employment somewhere. And the word bank is such an attractive thing all the time. Along the way, the first child comes, and somehow you say, maybe my husband can now look after me and the child. Let me go and concentrate on looking after the children. She walks in there and discovers, oh my God, good, I'm looking after the family. But I have this issue which is beginning to eat me up. The weight has come.
You're laughing.
And then, what do I do with this now? She now says, I think I need to get engaged somewhere, become active, goes into education. But later connects with what she thought was really her passion. But here's the message. Even when you have got a passion, can you try to professionalize it? Great footballers are talented. You need a coach. You need to be taken through the basics of the same game. If you do that, you shoot high up. Within a short time, after the machines arrived, the next day client was coming. At the training where she went to get the machine, they taught her how to use the machine and talk to the client. 2, how to maintain the machine. Both of those are key. Technical skills need professionalization. So she now begins to, first the client has said, this is very good. The next day there are 2. A little later they are moving up, and then there you begin to see what I call, you've broken into the first element of getting into the business of a sustainable business. Returning customers, and customers now that tell another person, and the numbers begin to blow. If you checked her numbers there, in that 90 in 6 months time, part of those were brought by satisfied customers.
True. So
viewers need to appreciate that as you go into tapping into your talent, your desire, your lifetime goal, your aspiration, can you professionalize it? 2, can you do something that makes people start saying, no, this is great for me, and I want my friend also to go and consume it. Repeat business. Now there she found a foundation for sustainability of something that you love to do. It's sustainable, but you also love to do it. So it's a very, very
quite powerful there. And I like the fact that she looked for get the training.
Yes.
Before this, because sometimes when we have the money to start something, we tend to focus so much
on the money.
I've bought the best machines.
Correct. The technology.
The rest will sort itself.
Correct.
But again, Jen, before we move on, I'd like you to paint for us a picture of the beginning, like when you're waiting for your first customer, you're sitting in this business, you started it, I'm imagining you started Sleek and Slender. I don't know whether you began with a name for starters.
Yes.
So you're sitting behind a counter and you say, we are open. Just paint for us that picture, the first day, the first week, the first 3-4 months.
It is just too funny because I want to first let you know that Sleek and Slender pushed me out of my comfort zone. I am an introvert. I used to be a very shy, a painfully shy person.
Okay.
And here I am. I'm opening the doors for clients. Yeah. And clients are from all walks of life. It's not somebody that it's not only the people that you went to school with, that you are comfortable with talking, and Sleek and Slender just I used the word the other day when we met. It totally reconfigured who I was, and to be able to match the challenge, I had to do many things differently. Number one, I had to read broadly, because Sleek and Slender was bringing in doctors, judges, nurses, professors.
As clients?
As clients, yes. Now, you picture somebody who is so shy, who has never broken out of her shell.
Yeah, sure.
I want to say here that every single day, those first days, I went back home with a headache. So
I'm sure those were the days when you had lawyers visiting. With all due respect for
So
the lawyers.
The beginning was not easy.
Can imagine.
It was not easy, and the thing is, as when we started, the place was not even ready. You know, when you say, I'm going with this, we didn't even have a gate at night. Some rooms were not even accessible, so I just locked some of them. I remember meeting, you know, negative people will always be there. I met someone I thought was a friend. I told her about Sleek and Slender. I remember her asking, is that the place that has heaps of sand?
You're still working.
We were still working. But anyway, that did not stop my dream. It did not kill my dream. Yes. And a lot of times, by the way, we are the ones that kill our own dreams because of the obstacles. So the beginning was really hard. It was hard. It was not easy. And remember those years, there will not be power.
And which year are we talking about?
We are talking about 1999. Wow. Yes. When I started, I didn't even have staff. My daughter Fiona, who was, I think, in S2 then, or S3, she's now a mother, and was the receptionist. I was the cleaner. I was doing everything else. So the beginning was not easy. But where there is a will, there's always a way. And when you are passionate about things, many people, when they walk into Sleek and Slender, they can never imagine that that's the way we started.
I hear you. That's an interesting one. Now, before I bring in Charles, you know, you were, I think, in 1999.
Yes.
You know, I'm imagining, because I know for the fact that even now, there could be a number of Ugandans who might still struggle to understand what wellness is. Because we tend to focus so much on our daily hustle and that kind of thing.
Yes.
So here you are, you selling this service, which probably for some, it could be the first time they are hearing about the concept, or they could have heard about it, but it's vague and that kind of thing.
The toning tables.
Exactly.
Do they work?
And that brings in a very important aspect. You know, it's easy to sell an apple, because you can sell
Yes.
an apple.
Yes.
Or this is jackfruit.
Yes.
Tell us, you know, your experience about selling a service. You know, to these lawyers, to these doctors, to these professors, probably some of them hearing it for the first time.
Yeah.
As I said, the beginning was not easy. The day before I opened the doors, I remember sitting at the reception and listing a few people that I knew, some people that I used to admire, people who had carried themselves well and aged in a graceful manner. People that inspired me as a young person, because I was still in my 30s when I opened the doors to Slick and Slender. So I made a short list and called one by one, using, you know, those old telephones, because there were no mobile phones like now. So I started with those few people that knew me, that maybe believed in me, and word of mouth. Of course, it doesn't help very much right now. Other things have overtaken that, but word of mouth really helped me. And I want to say that credibility is very, very important here. When you have some people believing in you, not so much of what they have already seen, but thinking that you can take them where they want to go. So I started with a few friends invited their friends, and slowly by slowly started building the name. Yes.
That's beautiful.
Yes.
Charles, she raises a very important point.
Yeah.
Credibility. And when she mentions it, I started imagining and wondering, when does an entrepreneur's journey begin? You know, because you could be something else.
Correct.
And then you say,
correct.
I now want, or probably you've been a smoker, you've been doing all this kind of thing, and you say, now I'm into the wellness business. But
So funny.
you can take it from there.
You know, as you listen to Jen speak, the elements of getting into business come out so clearly. When you hear her saying, I had to read a lot, I had to get myself to a position whereby as I receive these customers, I sit in a position of superiority in terms of my space. In business, in Enterprise Uganda, we call those mastering your key success factors. What does it take for somebody to walk through that gate and come to a turning table? And when they start saying, please, now I'm here to consume a service, you should deeply, deeply grounded in the subject. Mastery of the key success factors, fundamental. What she did was go and get the right machines. Get to know how to use those machines well. Read around your subject as if you're about to be examined. But the examination this time is not by some invigilator somewhere. It's the customer. So that's a key aspect of, as she was panicking, look, this is somebody who was passionate about her thing, but the reality dawns and says, this professor is coming, will I satisfy his expectations? We normally call that one the first law of entry into business. Sell a solution that meets or exceeds customer expectation. Now, if you don't panic about it, you are taking a customer for granted. So I was just delighted to hear her saying, headache was everywhere, panic everywhere, feeling as if things are not adequate. But along the way, things are rugged. The employees, it's you and your child. Those are your staff.
That's right.
Now that adds to the pressure. Then you keep on saying, oh my God, can I tell my friends? Then someone says, you mean I should come to that place with a lot of sun, a building site, looking a kind of area? Public opinion comes in. Now, if that is ringing in your head and stops you from how to craft solutions, you get yourself into more crisis. The courage came in. And as the courage came in, she began to overcome this big inherent limitation in her. The shyness, the timidity, and the nature of the job requires that you are not timid. Today, she will speak to you until you just say, I'm in the right place here. Please, I've come to the turning area, just take on with the job. So, in my view, for you to acquire that credibility, speak the message, speak the industry, speak the sector. Number two, as she said, start with the closest people who trust you. The word trust will always hang around buying decisions. Nobody wants to be experimented upon. Nobody wants to. And moreover, I'm paying your money and you're experimenting on me? No. So for trust to build, you need to have character. People who are your closest will know your character. Competence is now when you have done the job, then we start combining that. Character is there, competence also is there. So she worked around trust, which is a composition of competence and character, by starting with the people closest to her circles. But even as she was doing that, do your homework. Do your homework.
That's a good one. Doing the homework and the reading and the research and getting grounded in the business that you're in. Viewers, I must say, Jen, indeed, from what I see, and you can see our table today is fairly loaded. Jen reads a lot, clearly, from what I'm seeing here.
It is.
So
it
Jen,
is.
I can see quite a number of books here, and that kind of just really, I will not do this justice if I don't say a thing about the books we have in front of us.
Yes. Before we talk about the books, of course, this is just a tiny fraction of the books that that I've read. I just want to say that apart from these books that have shaped who I am, that have helped me to execute my duties professionally, and I want to say something about Enterprise Uganda.
Okay.
Enterprise Uganda has been there for me all the way, ever since Slick and Slender opened. I'm not going to say that I used to sit at the back. No, I never sit at the back. Even
But
in
she
church,
never misses all
Yes.
our sessions.
Yes.
There are many, but she never misses them.
yes,
That's
I'm
good.
always
That's
there.
good.
I almost forgot to say that the last training that we had at Piato,
Yes.
Enterprise Uganda just selected a few of us. I was so humbled
Yeah.
that I was invited for this session,
Yeah.
talking about how to resurrect our businesses, because as you know, COVID hit us really, really hard. So I went to Piato this morning together with my daughter,
Yeah.
who we are now partnering, and I'm hoping that she will take this business into the future and to the next generation. So this training, Charles, you came and addressed us just briefly, I think, just less than 10 minutes.
That's
but
correct. I remember that.
I'll never forget your words. I'll never forget what you said. I thought that all of you had died. Not from COVID, but businesses dying. No. That training, I think it happened beginning of March.
Yes.
It really put a big fire.
Very good.
Big fire in my chest.
I hear you.
And,
Very good. Very good.
I want to say that between March of this year and May, Slick and Slender is almost at the time when lockdown happened.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Wow.
So
I
it
feel
is
like
amazing.
just
This
clapping,
training,
please.
yes.
I feel good. I
Yes.
feel
That's
just feel
powerful.
good.
So
Indeed.
that training, and you know, I always try to share with people. I always encourage even my own clients. Please go to Enterprise Uganda. All the people that that I interact with, the people that want to go into businesses. I remember me encouraging the late Mrs. Jolene Gavidano.
Yes. Yeah.
And she came to Enterprise Uganda.
Yeah, she did.
And
Yeah.
she...
Very true. Very, very
So,
true.
training.
Training. You have to look for the knowledge, the
Yes,
skills.
you have got to look.
And continuously.
Yes, you have to be consistent with what. If I had run Slick and Slender up to 5 years and then my passion died, maybe Slick and we would not even be here in this
It
studio
wouldn't be.
talking about Slick and Slender.
Great, great.
Yes, so consistency. So the books have been amazing. They've taught me a lot. Things that we did not learn in school. There's this book, Eat to Live. amazing, amazing information. These books are in a series, chicken soup books, amazing books.
Okay.
There's even one here about retirement.
You see
This
that?
book, yes, this book
Yeah.
I bought from South Africa in 2015. I traveled to South Africa together with Dr. Kasenene of Wellcare in Bogolovi. And unfortunately, we were the only two Ugandans that raised the Ugandan flag. I was expecting some other people there, but we were the only two people. The reason why we went to South Africa was to learn a lot more about preventive medicine. Because in the near future, or even right now, the health system is totally overwhelmed by
Yes, all these
lifestyle
especially
diseases.
non-communicable ones.
Non-communicable. Yes, they even have a name for them. Non-communicable diseases. The health system is overwhelmed.
Yeah.
COVID has come and complicated matters even further.
And we're talking about the cancers, the diabetes.
Yes, diabetes. We are talking about hypertension, diseases which can be avoided, diseases that you can push until maybe you're 60 or 70, because right now we are hearing about 35-year-olds dying of strokes.
Correct.
We are hearing children in primary schools who are suffering from diabetes and high blood pressure. And all because of lack of knowledge, shall I say, as the Bible
Hold
says.
it there, Jen.
Yes.
Charles, quite interesting there, because you know, we've been lamenting about these, they're now becoming epidemics, especially like cancer and all these other lifestyle diseases. And I see, you know, a businesswoman who saw, not today, but over 20 years ago, that this is where we are headed.
Very true.
And I mean, I find that quite commendable, where she was able to actually look for an opportunity within a problem to actually help society. And now, if you see, I know for the fact that Minister of Health's narrative now is shifting to prevention, as opposed to treatment.
So you can see how talent and interest can create a space for anybody. A lady walks in there and thinks she's first going to start with friends and mature people, but her eyes are on the ground to keep on saying, where could my services be needed more? And she begins to see heavy, overweight children in primary 4. In primary 6, kids are weighing 70 kilos and they're in primary 4. Kids are weighing 90 kilos and they're in senior 1. And she's saying, these are things that we can begin to tap into and give solutions. What you can see here is get into the groove. You don't know how many more doors
Are going to
open and how useful you are going to be until you just discover, why is Uganda saying there are no jobs? There are no income opportunities. It's because you fronted a need to look for money rather than fronting a need to solve people's challenges. Look, she's now talking about all these early things that we never used to imagine. The cancers of kids, the children having hypertension. And she's listening and saying, how do I get into that? Getting into the game. And just look at what she's doing. As she reads this, she's technically getting herself ready. As she comes to Enterprise Uganda, she's saying, I want to be a business operator. Something that has got the rigor, the roots to stand the test of time. And you heard what you were saying? My daughter is already entering into this. She took the girl to school, exposed her to the game slowly by slowly, and she's saying, I'm hoping you can connect with this vision. Here is a person who avails herself to offload all her talent to the resolution of community challenges. And as that happens, limitless opportunity. And then you sleep well. That's the beauty about solving people's problems. You are sleeping well, not so much because you collected a lot of money today. You left people walking away feeling good.
You've solved a problem.
Yes.
That's a good one.
A heavy kid that was having hypertension is being given hope that this kid, we could reverse this picture. If this kid obeyed the following, and she goes into her books. Now you see what it means to be an entrepreneur. Never stop the learning trait.
Great.
And whatever you are learning, you are not learning to talk about it. You are learning to solve people's challenges. Yeah.
That's a good one. Jen, coming back to you, of course, one of the challenges in business is managing workers, employees. Because I know at your size of operation today and the time you've been in this business, you can't do everything alone. Definitely, you've hired people, you've trained people. Tell us about, that dynamic, especially, and I want to borrow this from people, for instance, that are in offering services or service-based businesses, hoteliers, and the others, because I can see your business also thrives a lot in building interpersonal relationships.
Yeah.
How have you managed to build a team, to offer the kind of service that you would offer even in your absence?
Charles, thank you so much for that question. Right now, I'd like to mention something about my upbringing.
Okay.
I want to really thank my parents, especially my father. My father was a professor of criminology and sociology, and I learnt a lot of the interpersonal skills from him. Though I was a shy person, that did not stop me from observing and the way he interacted with the very important people and the very lowly people, because the last close to 20 years he had retired and he was living in his country home, and I saw how he interacted with people, and not only interacted with other people, but the way he treated me, or the way he empowered me. Every time I'm talking to fathers, I always say, fathers, please empower your kids, because he just thought that I was something so big, and I started to believe it.
Yes,
and that's why I can come into a studio, I can stand in front of 500 people and give a presentation without quaking. So my parents and my upbringing has a lot to do with, first of all, how I conduct myself, how I treat my clients, how I treat my staff. I've been very intentional and deliberate, especially where getting employees is concerned. I took it upon myself from the time that I opened Slick, that I was going to employ only students.
Interesting.
Very interesting. You may not even believe it. The reason why I wanted students was because these are impressionable people. They've not worked anywhere else. They come to Slick and Slender.
Yeah.
I've already told you about my background, but I've also educated myself a lot about customer care. I have volumes, I didn't bring them here, but I have volumes about customer care. Add the knowledge that I've been getting from Enterprise Uganda. From 1999 up to today, I still employ students, university students. Of course, they come after their education. I normally encourage them to go and look for jobs out there. Among these members of staff, and good people, good girls, of course, they also come to Slick. Some of them are so timid, just like I was. But I help to empower them, to show them that they matter, to teach them that they are doing a good job, they are doing a good service. So one of them, Ruth, she might be out there listening. Ruth is Assistant Inspector of Police. I'm so proud of Ruth. She came to Sleek and Slender when she had just finished her S6 vacation. She was at Sleek and Slender, I think, like for 5 years. And after she left, she joined the police. She's a great lady.
Interesting.
One time I was traveling somewhere through Entebbe Airport. I met with 3 girls, former staff of Sleek and Slender. Those 3 girls were working with the UN.
Interesting.
Just think how I was feeling as I was catching my flight and going wherever I was going. So I still believe that if, by the way, I have also read a lot about leadership, so that also helps me. As the members of staff are watching you every day. They are looking at how you are treating clients. They are looking at the way you wake up, because every single day I'm at my place of work by 6:15
Oh my
a.m.
God.
Yes. So how are they going to be late if the owner of the business is at her place of work by 6? So how are you going to be late? So the training of my staff has been one of those. I feel so lucky and that I've actually been privileged to impart so much to these young people, these young lives.
I hear you.
Yes.
That's quite powerful, Charles.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jen.
Yeah.
Charles, quite powerful there.
It's an interesting philosophy. And again, it goes to the nature of her industry. Mastering the key success factors of your industry. One, she says customer care is key in this kind of a thing. And if somebody has not imbibed that and is too mature, it may be tough game to try and break them to appreciate it. So she goes for the impressionable age group and says, I'll select this one, select this one, select them. But then as she selects them, she's also keen on doing 3 things. One, nurturing them. With a heart which simply says, I want you to succeed, use this platform. 2, she puts herself as an example. That whatever I teach you, I do it. Whatever I teach you, I do it. 3, if you pick the skills and things that can sell you into a bigger world from this place, I bless you. That is a brilliant, brilliant outlook to nurturing human talent. You don't get yourself bruised, angry, and saying, now you are going away, you are joining police and what. Says, I bless you. Her people are in UN, her people in civil service, security forces. Everywhere she goes, she's a mom of great careers, of souls that have counted on her or depended on her to give them the wings to fly. So Jane, that's a brilliant way of looking at our country. And it's beautiful and great. You know? Give young men a chance, but don't just watch them and say, I catch you. Give them a chance and nurture them. As they begin to flourish, say, don't mind, should there be an opening that will make this journey even faster for you, just tell me about when you want to go, and we see how to manage.
And I love the fact that she's living by example.
That's the thing. 6 o'clock.
That is quite something.
6 o'clock, she's right in there. And that's a message without you even having to put a register somewhere.
Clocking in.
People
clocking in.
You know, it rubs off.
It does.
The kind of virtues that you exhibit as a an entrepreneur. Viewers, we're going to take a very short commercial break. We are looking at the topic of wellness, and this afternoon we have Jen Baine. She's the proprietor, Sleek and Slender, and quite powerful a story, and I'm sure there are quite some good lessons that we can pick. And after this break, of course, we'll be picking your calls and responses. Please don't go away. Dear viewers, welcome back. It's once again the Business X-Ray, and today we're looking at the opportunities that are presented by the business of wellness, or the wellness business. And our guest in the studio today is Jen Baine. the proprietor, Sleek and Slender. And she has already broken down for us what is involved in this business. And it clearly, from what I'm seeing, it's a cross-cutting subject. We all need it. Because we are all, ideally, as we are living, we're trying to run away from all manner of diseases.
Yes.
And the message she's coming with, of course, is the preventive message.
Yeah.
And she's offering solutions along those lines, and that's her business. Quite powerful and quite interesting. Now, thank you, Jen, once again. You mentioned earlier, you know, in our discussion about the fact that you've brought on board, you know, family, or you began with actually family at some point.
Yes.
So tell us about that, because, you know, we see sometimes many entrepreneurs start businesses and they would like to keep their family members away. Or sometimes when they bring them on board again, it's only, the only qualification a family member has is the blood relation for that business.
Correct.
How are you handling it?
I must say that I've been very, very fortunate. And the daughter that I have brought on board, together with my son, by the way, the daughter is my daughter-in-law, though I don't like using in-law. So my son, together with his wife, showed very, very keen interest in Sleek and Slender. And they are the ones that have now been taking it to another level, using social media, because Mommy was earlier relying on word of mouth. When they came back from studies, they said, look here, we have to start doing things in a certain way. And my daughter was working in a corporate job at Sanlam, and she decided on her own. I did not persuade her, I did not coerce her into coming to join. So she joined because she loved what I do. And I want to say that she is very, very passionate. No, she's very, very passionate. And she is teachable, because every time I'm coming to Enterprise Uganda, she comes with me willingly, not that I'm forcing her to learn these things. And I find it I find it a blessing, because as I always say to people, I don't want Sleek and Slender to die with me. I want it to go into the future. I want it to go to the next generation. In fact, right now, every time I get a young person at Sleek and Slender, I sit with them even longer, trying to teach them, trying to show them that looking after oneself is a personal responsibility. You shouldn't have someone with a stick following you all the time, advising you to eat healthily, to do your exercise. No, it's an individual's responsibility. So for me to have young people on board who are passionate about what we are doing for this country, and by the way, not only this country, but also beyond, because I have some friends that have taken this concept to there's one client I had who took this concept to Ghana, Accra. I have a very close friend of mine, Annette. She took this concept after she visited Sleek and Slender. She took it to Kigali, in fact, very, very seriously, because she even sent me a ticket to go and help her set up this business. There's somebody in Dar es Salaam, Juliana, who was working here with one of the banks, somebody else in Australia. So, I mean, this has gone even beyond what I thought it would be. So, if my son and my daughter can take this to the next generations, I'll be very happy.
Okay.
Yes.
No, that's brilliant. That's quite brilliant.
Yes.
Now, the other question is about the passion, because you had passion for this.
Yes.
And I know there are many people out there who have passion in so many things.
Yes.
Some are, good at baking, for
Yes.
instance.
Yes.
Others could be good at decorating, fashion, and the like. And the challenge always is, how do I transform my passion into a business? How do I turn this into, you know, a bankable project, but most importantly, you know, a business? I know you touched a little about how you began, how you made this decision and that kind of thing. But in a nutshell, what would you give, you know, such a person? And we have many who have gone into that particular area because of COVID.
Yes.
Some have lost jobs.
Yes.
In fact, we've hosted some here who later discovered that actually after crisis,
Yes.
that, well, I think I can make bricks. I think I can do this and
I
that.
like that.
And then, you know, so your advice there is very, very important.
I think first and foremost it starts with passion. What do you like to do without stressing yourself too much? Is it beauty? Is it farming? I mentioned farming. I remember how we actually got the property on Katonga Road, where Slick and Slender is based. A friend of ours, Mr. John Ndiabaji, who is like an uncle to me. Of course, he wouldn't even remember this, but he came to us and many years ago, and he forced us to buy his land. But every single day, I'm so thankful to Mr. Ndiabaji.
He forced you to make the purchase.
He forced us. I'm not passionate about farming.
Yes.
Mr. Bain is not passionate about farming, but he forced us to buy this land. But this land later on is what we sold to get to the property where we work from.
Interesting.
So it is very important that you identify something that you are passionate about. Educate yourself. Educate yourself about what you are passionate about. Is it something that is viable? Like I went into teaching.
Yeah.
I hope that I would do. I love children. I love children too much. I enjoyed all the 4 years that I spent at Kabira International School. But then I saw how the headmistress would be stressed every single day. And I said, this is not what I want. I said, I don't want to be stressed every single day. So then this is how now I branched into something that I'm passionate about, something that I don't stress to do.
Yeah.
It just comes so naturally to me. Talking to people, encouraging people, motivating people is something that I'm passionate about, and perhaps that's why Slick and Slender is still there after 21 years. So let the individual look for what they want, what they like to do.
Great. Thank you, Jen. Now, before we go for the questions, you know, from our viewers,
Yes.
that are quite a number.
Yes.
I've seen they've come through. Any challenges and how you've managed to scale or to deal with the challenges when they happen?
I like that question. Of course, if you see anyone that has succeeded in anything, just to know for sure that there have been several challenges. I'll mention just a few. The power issue in Uganda. There is a time that I knew that Slick was closing. You remember the years of 24-hour load shedding?
Yes.
That time, I just knew that we were closing shop, but there was some intervention. Somebody came and talked to me nicely and offered me a line that was passing via Slick going to some important place. Of course, at a small fee, but that helped Slick and Slender to survive.
And most likely that was one of your customers.
No, it wasn't a customer. It was somebody working with power.
Okay.
Was it?
Okay.
It wasn't. I think it was
UEB.
that time. So somebody came and talked to me nicely and asked for lunch, and that person asked for very little money. In retrospective, he had even asked for a lot of money. I think I couldn't have paid that.
Yeah.
But anyway, power has been a serious challenge.
Yeah.
Even over the years, even as recently as I think March of this year, when I used all the savings that I got from the business last year to buy a very powerful generator. Meaning that I want Slick and Slender to go into the future.
Very good.
So this generator is going to last maybe another 15 or 20 years.
Excellent.
Yes, power has been a very, very serious challenge. Number two, of course, I don't want even to talk about COVID because COVID cuts across there are people who who have thrived during COVID, but a lot of us were hit by COVID.
Correct.
I thought we were going under. But what is very interesting, I just decided, you know what, Slick and Slender is an essential service. I'm not going to close this place.
Especially during this COVID time.
I said especially because people need to exercise.
Yes. Correct.
People need the information which I'm offering about healthy eating. I even had the Ministry of Health.
Exactly.
Yes. And by the way, when I say Ministry of Health, I've been for the last so many years wanting to partner with Ministry of Health.
Yes.
Because instead of only hospitals, if they could use some of us with all this experience to go out there and develop some wellness centers. Very good. Where we are going to teach people, eat like this, do your exercise on a regular basis. Can you imagine the amount of money that would be saved?
You'll save.
Correct.
I think that's a good one. And I know some who are keen viewers of this show, so I'm very sure that message has arrived.
You are going to introduce me. You are going to introduce me.
And the beauty is they watch the show as well.
Good.
Correct.
Very good. Now I have, I think we can move to the questions that are coming through from our viewers.
Yes.
I have someone here, he had you talk about the challenges and that kind of thing.
Yes.
He's saying, for how long should a person give business time to grow before giving up on it? I think the entrepreneur as well.
For how long? I think that should go to Mr. Uchichi. Yes, because he's our doctor.
He's a doctor in that space.
Yes, he's our doctor.
Yes.
No business should be quickly given up at any one time because there is nowhere waiting which is easier. Where you think it is easier the other side, it has also its own waiting challenges. Yes. So my comfort to anybody who has started a particular journey is to say, did I get the first customer? If you didn't, why? Is there another person giving a similar or a close substitute of a solution? Are they also having no customers or are they getting? If they are getting, then they have got a place to start learning from. Yes. Because most of the businesses that we go for, if there is a close substitute or something similar to what you are doing and they are getting customers, please associate with them. You heard what Jane said here. In the trip to South Africa, Jane is associating with the colleagues in the same space. Why is she doing that? One of them is to learn from each other. The other one is to get encouragement from each other. So if you lock yourself in your own isolation and start looking for dark spots that overwhelm you completely, you will indeed decide to close. It's easier to close than to struggle. So, but as you think that the other side is easier, remember what Jane said. The nursery school engagement looked so attractive until she started seeing a senior person in the sector and seeing the stress that person was going through. You discover that what looks glamorous outside here, you get inside there, you discover there's a big challenge. So in effect, don't give up easily. If you got the first customers, why are they not returning? If the customers are not returning, did you talk to them? If they are now giving you feedback, did you take the feedback seriously and try to address them? If you did that, all that, and it's still not working out, is there another person walking the same path? How are they coping?
Right.
Never give up.
Thank you, Charles. Now, I have Dusman Oki, is the RDC Padel. He's saying, great show. Kindly bring Mrs. Baine to encourage and talk about reading. WhatsApp has killed our reading culture.
So sad.
And I think it's even happening to the business people as well.
Yes.
So sad.
Yes. Yes.
So Then Charles, someone here is wondering, he wants information about, the session. I think we won't tire to actually keep telling people about the sessions for Enterprise Uganda.
Yes.
And the current sessions that are going on. Because I
Yeah.
have about 4 people asking.
Yeah. So I can only say that please try and get in touch with Enterprise Uganda. We're on plot number 38 Lumumba Avenue. Email address is info@enterprise.co.ug. My telephone line is 0772 699 808. Get in touch and we shall get you enrolled. There are so many beautiful sessions we conduct. And what is Slick and Slender proprietor is saying here are solutions available for the entire country.
Thank you, Charles. I have Shamila from Maya. She's asking, thanks for the show. I'm requesting that Madame Baine mentions the books left on the table and empowering books for women. I love tailoring, but I studied midwifery. I fear to leave because my mom today...
yeah, give her those titles.
She's actually trying to go into another space. But she studied something different. She loves tailoring, you know what you're talking about. So what kind of advice would you, want to give her?
Oh, to Shamila?
Yes, Shamila, yes.
Oh, okay. If you were forced into, was it midwifery?
Midwifery. Yes.
Most likely, you were forced to do the course that you did, and now that you find that there is something else that you are passionate about, don't quit midwifery just like that. Maybe go for training part-time in your spare time. You could look for somebody who could do some mentoring for you. I know some people that are in that business. If you get in touch with me, I could introduce you. And you first do the training, because you don't want to just jump out of the job and then you start the training. And as we were saying earlier, you may think that tailoring is a lucrative business. You reach there and you spend 6 months spoiling other your clients' clothes.
Yes.
And then you are cussing, and then the clients are also cussing. So first do the training. You can do this passion of yours side by side with a job, until you are confident enough that you can go out on your own and acquire sewing machines, and you take off.
And you take off.
Yes.
Very good. Now I have Ponciano. Ponciano is watching us from Tanzania. He's saying he's a young entrepreneur and a psychotherapist. He's saying, of course, he wants to know to get Charles Ochichi's number and Jen's contacts, but then also is keenly interested in knowing where your operation is located.
Okay, I think we shall give that
But
at
we'll
the
give
end.
that at the end of it.
And the
Yes.
books. They
Yes.
wanted to a bit of those titles.
These titles, I don't know if we can maybe just show them.
Yeah.
This is Dr. Kasenene's book.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to ask my producer to zoom in on the titles.
Yes.
So that those that are keen on picking some of these can actually, get the message there. Okay. Okay. Someone, Charles, this is coming to you, is wondering whether you have, special sessions for specifically the young women in business as Enterprise Uganda.
We have sessions for women. We also have sessions that are generic, everybody. So again, like I gave the contacts already, use those contacts, get in touch, and then we can look at your case and see which products you can come into immediately.
Right.
Otherwise, sometimes we get a partner we work with and they are just interested in training only women. So in that respect, we go by that direction. But I want to add quickly that when it comes to business, it is irrespective of gender.
That's good.
Anybody can go to any sector and make a mark.
Perfect.
But obviously, some partners that we work with will say Enterprise Uganda, we are interested only in women, and women of a certain category, or women located in a particular part of the country. That also we respect.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's a good one. So I have Shanton Niwamanya from Chikoni Makerere. He says, I've been, okay, how can I get help? Because I've started making wine from pineapples, but the project cannot move forward. Because when I take it to the market, customers want a seal from UNBS, yet I cannot manage since I don't have money. I've just graduated from campus and no job so far. What kind of advice would you give?
Again, I will always tell people that a beginning will always be rugged. You've just heard what Ben was talking about here. Our compound was full of building materials, and yet we are here talking about wellness and looking after people's wholesome solutions. So the young lady needs to start selling the wine to people who will not necessarily first ask for the UNBS label. Start with people who know you. And that's exactly how Jane started. She started with people who knew her. There are people who are going to buy that wine because they trust the person whom they are buying it from. And they know that you mean well for them even if the label is not there. As you get on with that particular starting point, be working towards saving money to resolve the roadblock that is holding you back from accessing a bigger market. Never ever wait for ideal situations in this world. If now the wine thing is holding you back because there's that minimum, get your energy into something else that can bring money a little bit faster, make that money and go back to wine.
Great. Perfect, perfect. Now this goes specifically to Jen.
Yes.
I have someone here asking and saying, okay, she's Bella. She's called Bella. She's saying, learning from Madam Jen Baine is so humbling. I have left, okay, she's saying I would like her to share some tips on helping children to eat healthy and enjoy health food. Children today do not like to eat, especially in the urban settings. How can we encourage to eat healthy? And I think this specifically in your space.
Big thing.
Number one, I'd like to encourage Bella to read Kasenene's book. Get a copy. You could get a copy. I think there are copies at Aristoc. If you can't find copies at Aristoc, you could come to Slick and Slender because there are copies there, or you could go to Bugolovi.
And the title is?
The title is Eat Your Way to Wellness. Yes, I like what she has said, that children in urban areas don't like to eat, or they don't want to eat healthily. But I'd like to ask Bella if her children go to the market to buy food. The food that is in the home is bought by the parents. So if you are buying unhealthy foods, that's what the children are going to eat. If you have introduced them to KFC and to bacon and sausages every morning, that is what they are going to enjoy. And by the way, I don't even know what they put in junk food, because even adults, I know adults who are hooked to junk food. But I'd like to encourage Bella to buy healthy foods. Buy the fruits. The children, by the way, love fruits. So make sure that you make the healthy foods more readily available than the junk food.
Very good.
And then the language we use when we are serving that food.
Yes.
We should not be saying this is just home food, let's go for good food the other side in the restaurant. They now believe anything homemade, it is junk until we get out of our gate.
Yes.
So how do we portray what we eat at home?
I hear you. Again, Jen, I have someone here, is called Patience, and she's saying, thanks for the show. She's wondering about, the service that you offer, and because the question she's specifically putting, does it work, how does it work, and how long does it take?
How long does it take?
Yes.
I want to, I like to always encourage people not to think about how long it takes. I've been at this for the last 25 years. I do my exercises every single day except Sunday.
Wow.
So Monday to Saturday, I do my exercise.
There's no shortcut.
There is no shortcut. If you are going to be healthy, if you're going to have hair like this, I know patients might be out there thinking that I've put
got
some,
a wig,
that if you're going to have your hair
Yeah.
still growing at this age.
Yeah.
If you are going to have skin that does not have blemishes,
Yes.
if you are going to have energy, because people think, I don't know what, it's not about just losing kilograms and then off you go. No, I did not do that. I lost 20 kilos. I lost 20 kilos. I don't want to lose any more weight.
Yes.
I just want to keep the weight that I have. But I want to be healthy. I want to have energy, because everything in life requires energy, including even a smile. By the way, that's what I understand. That's why people, yes, I understand. That's why people do not even give good customer care.
Yes.
Because when you don't love yourself, if you
You can't give what you don't have.
you cannot give. So patience, I'd like to encourage you to start looking after your life for the rest of your life, not to how long does it take. No. You come and I teach you a safe way, a proper way of taking good care of you. And not only yourself, by the way, also your family. Because Bella was asking about children. But it starts with you. Yes, the mother in the home. Yes, the foods that you are buying. Yes, it starts with you. And it's not a 1 week thing. It's not a 1 month thing. There is somebody in so many years ago, a philosopher called Seneca. Seneca wrote many, many years ago, the time of Jesus Christ, that as long as you live, continue learning how to live.
Perfect. That's a good one. Charles, I have a very interesting
very good point
client here. Another viewer is from Tanzania, and she commends Jen for a very good delivery.
Yeah.
And she's saying, thank you for the program. You run 15 hours. That's 3 p.m. It makes him stay home every Sunday. I'd love to see this program across East Africa, especially to universities and colleges.
Wow.
He's called Chamiliho Martin from Arusha City, Tanzania.
Wow.
Chamlibo and another fellow from Kigali called Eddie, they are such ardent watchers of this program.
Yes.
Wonderful.
And I want them to get in touch with Enterprise Uganda. What Beine has done with some of our clients who have taken these solutions to Dar es Salaam, to Australia, we too, and Kigali as well, we too at Enterprise Uganda, we are more than glad to do what we are doing here and get it replicated elsewhere. So please, our brother from Tanzania, Dar es Salaam, our brother from Kigali, Eddie,
and I have Trevor here from Boston as well.
And then Boston, there you are. And sometimes we get them from even the Middle East, Somalia. Get in touch. These solutions are for our own people. Let's share them.
Thank you very much. And thank you, Charles.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jen.
You're welcome.
Viewers, that brings us to the end of today's quite riveting edition of the show, Business X-Ray. We are here and committed to sharing with you tips on how you can build that business and actually sustainably see it walk through the realities of, the economy, life, and, live to see, I don't know which birthday, Charles, there is that, line. Is it the first birthday or second birthday where most of our businesses die?
By the fifth birthday, majority have gone.
Are gone. Yeah. And I'm sure if you watch this show diligently, and of course the relationship we have with Enterprise Uganda, it will help you sail through. Now, I'd like to wish you a very good evening. Until next time, I've been your host, Charles Woji. God bless.